week again. Prepare yourself for the surveyors of sauce, the sultans of spaghetti, the whispers in your ears. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the What's Your Spaghetti Policy podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Alex and Jacob.
I mean, you can never be too careful. Like, you don't want to
How am I
ask
gonna
a question
incriminate you?
because you're like, I got a question to ask you, and I'm like, hold on, like,
Okay.
is it going to incriminate somebody? Is there like,
Where were
ahead.
you August 17th, 1973?
I was not alive.
You were deep in your father's ball sack is where you were, buddy.
75. My dad is 11.
Okay.
Dude, 75 is a
Buddy.
long time ago.
Top of the episode, we're just going to do
Okay.
a small diatribe here already.
Okay.
It's
All
just like to think and just like take a moment to realize how random the world is, right? How often
Okay.
do your balls get replenished, right? I'm talking about get all the guys out of there, all the old ones, they all die off, get all of it out of there, like
Daily?
like daily, right? So the odds that you that you are just hanging out in your father's ball
Those
sack,
two
right?
pictures of you and me behind
Right?
you.
Isn't it? You like it? No. So the
Okay.
odds, right, that you were swimming around your daddy's ball sack on the day that he was like, "Let's bang, honey," right? Okay, not just that, okay, but then there's the randomness of like you being the swimmer that just fucking gets
I'm a
there,
survivor,
the
dude.
champion that gets to the egg first.
Dude, you're a born winner, man.
That's what I'm saying, man. I think that's the moral of my story is that like.
No matter what, you're a winner.
I think everybody out there watching right now and everybody out there listening needs to go ahead and give themselves a pat on the back. Because, yeah, you're here. Like, against every single odd put
Yeah.
before you, against synchronicities, against, like, everything that it took to get to that moment where your mother plowed, or your father, yeah, your mother pegged the shit out of your father, dude, and got you
You
in
never
there.
know. The 80s was a wild time.
Hey,
man.
man, that's what I'm saying. Like, not even just you, but everybody out there, man.
Everyone
like,
was coked
that's
out
the
of their
thing.
mind.
If
what I
you're
understand.
if you're listening to this right now, guess what? Your parents banged a lot. You're here because they fucked, right? And that's cool, man.
Whatever, dude. People don't like sex. What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying, dude. I just think we need to get back
That
to
was that. There was this like taboo thing. You remember, like that was always like this thing. They're like, oh, it was always, and it's just
Yeah,
like
dude.
people fuck all the time.
Yeah,
man.
that's literally the reason we're sitting here being disgusted is because
Well-
somebody in our lineage fucked, and we're now here. Everybody.
Based on where like we live, there's this idea that I gotta have sex with my husband tonight. And it's just like, and it's just like maybe you're not getting laid all the time, like as a man, because like you're terrible at it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
you really do need. To
I mean,
start looking deeper.
there are instances where like you're just fucking tired, you're not in the mood,
Yeah.
whatever, and that goes both ways. But like,
Sorry, Jesus Christ.
like, what the fuck was
I
that?
burped, dude. Like, I didn't want to be rude and like belch it
I
out.
thought you
but it
just
was like,
shit yourself.
just shit my pants in the middle of the
And
recording.
you just
or
sit
whatever.
there and stew in it for
You
an
just-
hour. Ew.
Imagine I did. I just like you just hear a huge ass fart, right? And you can see on my face that clearly I'm like shitting my pants, right? But then like we just go back like nothing normal, and it's just like
Bro, you want to know what the new lingo is for kids? So like they don't talk about
it's-
farts.
yeah.
They call it busting bombs.
I mean, that feels like.
But
feels
so
kinda,
much
like,
so
old
that
school.
like I brought it up to a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
Like obviously I knew that from Zoe, but like I brought it up to her boyfriend, I guess. She's 7. she
Weird,
doesn't have
man.
she doesn't have a real
Yeah, I
boyfriend,
get you,
whatever.
yeah.
But like we took them to the trampoline park on like last Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, bro, you busting bombs on the bus? And he belly laughed because he was just like, he's like, bro, like, how do you know this? Sort of thing. So
I
like,
got
I brought,
TikTok. I've seen it. I got Instagram reels. Don't worry.
I don't, I don't, but whatever. What was the question you were gonna ask me, or what was that the question?
No, that wasn't the question. So, do you think we still do this podcast? Right? Say somehow, some way, we blow up. Right? We get some way they start paying us $100K. Let's say a year, right? Each.
Okay.
We make it, and it's a full-fledged job, right? Where every week we have to take a single day out of our time to go down to the studio and record an episode. Do you think that
That
we
would be
still
kinda
do
fun.
this? I mean, it would be fun, yes. But I also
Yeah, but
think,
you like that novelty of like I think it'd
yeah,
be, you know what I mean?
but it's like that idea that like we would
Once
have
a
to
week?
travel once a week to the studio to
Where's the
record an
studio?
episode. Oh man. I would say if we were gonna do this like for real, like, I think it would have to be halfway both of us, right? So like it
So like
I
10-minute drive.
yeah, like 10-15 minute drive, you know.
Oh, and you can't do that once a week?
Yeah, but it's like
Once a
at
week.
night, like at the same time. We still have to record at 8 o'clock.
If we did it, dude, if we did it for a living, we could do it anytime.
I guess it's fair, yeah. So, there we go. Yeah.
You wouldn't have anything else to do.
Yeah, I guess like my job would just be this. I would just have to drag
Right.
myself one day a week
Like
to
you're
record an episode. But obviously, I
right.
think there would be more to it. They wouldn't just like be like, "Hey, here's 100K a year for recording one night a week." Like, there's got to be like a lot more to it. And it just
Yeah, ad reads and you have to maintain
yeah.
a certain threshold of listeners and like it's the whole
It
thing. Like
sounds like I'm not excited about it already. So
I think it's interesting. Like it's obviously like when you're small time and you've been doing it, when you do it for the love of the game, if you will, you have a different perspective. So like it starts to become like daunting and it's like, oh, work, but like you can't say, oh, well, nothing changed because I don't think that is entirely true.
mhm.
I think that it is just a natural human instinct. Like you try to be as close to what you were, but like if we had to break, like we already don't edit, right? So everything's like one long take, one long like form conversation.
Yeah,
But like if you have to then okay, like because I know a lot of ad reads in podcasting, like you have to after there has to be at least 10 minutes left of an episode
hmm
before your ad read so that way people don't skip the ad read. Like a lot of them don't like it at the beginning, they like it in the middle of the episode to ensure that you actually do listen to it, sort of thing. And it's just like, and then you have to read these.
I just like, man, that's it. I understand that it does become work, but to me,
Yeah.
it would just be like if we were ever to get to that level, I would just be like, I'm gonna read your ad when I fucking feel like reading your ad. I'll make sure that it gets in the episode, but like you came to me wanting to be in my show, like I don't give a fuck about your money.
Yeah, but like that's part of the contract. Like that's part of
That's
the,
the thing, man. Like, I wouldn't be signing any contracts. And
then you don't get any money.
I wouldn't be doing the ad reads, then, buddy.
Right. So that's what it does. And like,
And that's
then
why
that
we'll
becomes
never be big, dudes, because like we're not willing to compromise, you know?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say that we didn't try, or at least I didn't. I tried at the beginning. I was just like, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
I'll read your fucking cereal ad. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Magic spoon, you know, we're out there like fucking
It was on every podcast, and they were just like, we're kind of tapped on the podcast. And it's like, just say that we're not famous enough. Just say
yeah.
that.
And
Like, don't give me your corporate bullshit.
Yeah,
Just
dude.
tell me that you don't support small people.
kick it to me straight, dude. Don't fucking beat around
Yeah.
the bush, dude. Okay, Raid Shadow Legends. What do you like, fucking just tell us you hate us? It's okay, dude.
Yeah, it's.
Fucking, I don't give a
it's
shit,
fine.
dude. I have never.
Um,
I actually think I have played Raid Shadow Legends, but it was for like
I didn't.
some
I always
streamer
saw
that I
that.
really like was doing like a hey, you know, sign up for it, and I was like, I'll support you, buddy. Don't worry, I got you. You know.
And that's the thing too, is like a lot of those things are indicative of other people following a link or using your code
Yeah.
on checkout. But it's just like, I mean, I don't know the nuances in the parameters. Like we're talking about ads, like we fucking know. But like,
I
if
don't know
it's
what that
like
is,
a lot of that stuff is like, oh, use the code for 10% off of or your first order, right?
It's for real
Okay, so
estate.
then like you can't use that code after your first order at a certain point unless you're actively growing. But like me, like if I in this podcast, like I'll skip them. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, man. I don't give a
I'll-
shit. Like I don't like I'll hit the 30-second
But,
forward
um,
button four
but
times
I'm-
if I have to. You know what I mean?
I've
Like,
become you though. Like I won't pay a monthly fee to listen to a podcast.
I won't. There. I mean, I have seen a huge trend recently where like I think just about every single podcast I listen to on Apple Podcasts has like a Apple Plus subscription where it's like pay for
Yeah.
this podcast plus and you get extra episodes, and it's like there are times where it's tempting. But it's just like, man, I can't do it, dude. I already like support you guys. I already like really dig the content. Like I hate that it's behind like, this new content is behind a paywall. But like, whatever,
But I
dude.
mean, but at that same on that same token though, you're like good for them.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Like,
For me, it's so weird. I almost wore my tie-dye shirt today. I'm glad I didn't.
I got my polo.
Dude, I would have changed immediately.
Oh, we got twinsies.
Dude, dude, couple shirts I mean, like
So
top
cute, dude.
top three things that I hate seeing in public.
Oh,
I hate it. Like, so does my wife. We actively make fun of people who are wearing matching shirts.
I'm gonna wear it next time we go to go to somewhere. I'm
Dude,
gonna get a shirt that says "I'm with stupid." It's gonna have an arrow pointing at you. It's funny.
that's fine because I'm not wearing the
But it's
shirt
always,
that
I'm
says
always
I'm
gonna stand on
stupid.
the wrong side. It's gonna be a funny bit every single time. So,
Anyways,
it's,
what was the whole point of that? Oh, but like, there's like certain podcasts that I've been listening to for a decade now, and it's just like I don't subscribe to their Patreon, and like I like them, they're good dudes. I appreciate it. I listen to Bill Burr twice a week, and it's like great. Um, but I got enough things that I already pay for,
yeah.
and I would, you know what I mean? And it's just like then you have that. Well, you want people to do your Patreon? And it's like, yeah, I'd love to, but like,
Oh, no. The Patreon for us is like solely discretionary income that you have that you're willing and want to
but
spend.
also I think that like I was talking to somebody today.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Tony Nacho,
Shut out, my guy. Yeah.
former guest on the Spaghetti Policy podcast, but he's fixing to launch his Kickstarter. I think he said like in March, like the original date was sometime in February, but he ran into issues because like that's the game, baby. Um,
It is.
delays happen, but I was talking to him about like the whole landscape of crowdfunding, how it's changed into it's no longer like it's like crowdfunding has become a dirty word. Like indie comics has become a dirty word now because of all the grifting and the like means of people use it as a form of income rather than like what it is intended for.
Yeah.
And like I feel even more unique. I mean, obviously there's people that still do it, but like from my perspective, it's just like I literally am just doing this thing that I think is super rad and I put a shit ton of work into, but I'm doing it because like hey, I'm presenting you a thing. You're going to give me money to make thing. I'm going to give you thing. All the rest of it goes into making the next thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's what it's for. It's meant for people like me. And the podcasting was that way for a while too. But now we've talked about it's just like overrun with people who don't need ad reads, people
Yeah.
who already have money. But I get it. But all that to say is like in doing the thing that I do and just like seeing it from like this perspective is like, man, there's nothing that kills creativity more than money. And I mean that on both sides because you can get so much money that you become complacent and you just keep making the same regurgitated rinse repeat thing, the MCU,
Mm-hmm.
um, or you sell out the thing that you made that was unique. You sell out because you want a payday. We've seen that happen with tons of things. And on the flip side of that, if you don't have enough money to make a thing, not having enough money will then kill the creativity. So it's like a double-edged sword. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's,
Damn.
what?
I just wish I had a lot of money, you know? Like, I get that it kills creativity and all, but it's like, be kind of
Bet.
nice, you know? Yeah.
Bet.
Let me kill it. Let me kill it, dude. If I can give me the money and I'll show you if I can kill it.
Um,
You know?
you know, you had mentioned something earlier, like it might have been on the pod, it might have been off mic or whatever, but you said something that like triggered uh, an irritation for me. And I just like, we talk all the time about the people in charge, right,
Mm-hmm.
of the this country, and we won't get into that, but like they don't know what it's like to be a normal ass human being and
That's
the
fair.
fucking things that we have to deal with. Okay, I'm gonna tell you a story. You already know most of it, but I'm
Okay.
gonna tell it for people at home. And I believe that you also have one as well. Like real life things that happen to real life people and the nuances and the fucking frustration and the unnecessary bullshit and hoops that one has to go through in order to get what's theirs. And I don't mean like, and I know that's like foreboding and been like, ooh, shit. And I mean, I'm talking like, not to bury the lead here, fucking movie tickets. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I have to set the scene because there are a couple of asterisks here. And also, sometimes it's okay to stretch the truth in order to make a point to fucking corporate,
Oh, yeah. If we're
you
lying to
know.
corporations, I don't give a fuck at all. You can say that you fucking fell off an escalator and it's like, I'm fine
But,
with it.
But in order to get the point across, though, like sometimes you have to, like, again, you have to fabricate the truth a little in order to get them to understand the gravity of the situation. Okay. Because in every lie is a shard of truth, right? Something like that. Anyways, last week or so, we had decided Zoe wanted to go see Dog Man, right? She's super hyped for it. She's read a couple of the books, super excited. And I was like, you know what? Like, fun, fuck it. Like, we'll go on Sunday at like 11 o'clock. You know, I still wake up, have coffee, do all the things. And like,
Hell
we'll
yeah.
go, just me and her. And through Comcast, they occasionally will send you like these free, like redeemable rewards or whatever. So I had a buy one, get one free tickets to Dogman. So basically, hers was free or mine was free, whatever. It doesn't specify
Gotcha.
kid or whatever. It was basically like $12 off, right? It was
Yeah.
whatever. And someone had given us like $50 in Fandango gift cards. Like someone had given it to somebody and they were never going to use it. So they're like, here, you use it,
Damn,
take
dude.
Zoe.
Hell yeah.
Great. Hell yeah. Fucking hell yeah. Like
Hell
I'm
yeah,
winning.
dude.
Fucking hell yeah. Like free movie on a Sunday. I'll just get some popcorn, whatever. So Sunday morning we wake up and I could tell like we both Christine and I both knew Zoe's done pretty well. Like everyone that we know who has kids has been sick. You included.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like all of her friends in the neighborhood have been sick. All like everyone at school has been sick and she has managed to knock on wood up until that point not get the flu, not get strep, not get into this thing. So we're like
Yeah.
whatever. Sunday she woke up and she was not feeling well. You could see it in her face. Like you know, like you just know like her face. She just didn't have a whole lot of color in her face and she was real crummy. She's a chatty little cat in the mornings. Like she loves to talk all the time, sun up to sundown. And she just was very quiet. And then like just she just kind of like lounged around. I was like, okay, she's being lazy. I don't remember what I did exactly, but like I came, I was like, I guess I was getting ready. I took a shower and like I walk in the kitchen and like she looks white as a ghost. I'm like, Zoe, I was like, you have no color. And she's like, I'm fine.
You don't look fine, buddy.
I'm like, no, you are not. Like like, you do not look well.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm fine. And like, she's no, it's like, it's that thing where like, you're irritated. Just leave me alone. Let's go. And I was like, okay. But she didn't say that, but I could tell, you know.
Yeah.
And like, my child does not take a nap at all, like
Okay. Yeah,
anymore.
that's
She
fair.
hasn't, unless she is sick. Okay. And like, I mean, she just hasn't taken a nap. She's like, refuses to sleep. She's afraid she's going to miss out. She has really bad FOMO. And on the way there, I'm just like, Zoe, it's like, you don't look like you feel good. Like, her face looked like it hurt, whatever. And then like she fell asleep on the way to the movie theater, and I'm like, she is not well. Like this is we can't. So like I'm talking to her, and I was like, she's like, I just really want to see the movie. Like I'm really looking forward to it. I don't want to miss it. I want to go. I'm like, sweetie, we can rebook the tickets. It's not a big
Yeah.
deal.
It's
Like
gonna be playing in
it
theaters for like a
just
long
it just
time.
came
Yeah.
out. Like it's gonna be in theaters for a little bit. Like we can just see. She's like, you're not gonna be mad. It's like, no, I'm not gonna be mad. Like I'm looking out for you. And like I was like, if we go to the movie and we have to leave halfway through, we don't get our money back. But if like we don't go and like we go home and change the tickets, like we can go. We can just reuse it. We'll do it next Sunday or whatever. And so like we drive all the way out to the movie theater, and we get to the parking lot, and she was just like, she finally woke up or whatever. She's like, okay. She's like, I want to go home. I'm like, okay, like no problem. And
Hell
so
yeah.
like we drew. So like I sat in the parking lot. This part of the story is very important.
Okay.
In the parking lot, I fucking go to refund my tickets or exchange my tickets before the show time. Do you understand that?
Yeah. Before the showdown. Got it. Yeah.
Before the show time, I went to exchange it. But due to the fact that I used a promo code and due to the fact that I used a gift card,
Yeah.
I had to submit a ticket to their customer service.
Okay.
This is on a Sunday. So no one's going to answer it. Okay, fine. So I submitted it, and it goes through before the show time.
Yeah.
Again, I did what I was fucking supposed to do as a customer.
Yeah.
Okay. And it said, well, it could take up to 72 hours. Okay, whatever, fine. So I get an email on Wednesday telling me we can't issue a refund because it's after the scheduled time. Well, no fucking shit.
Yeah. You fucking. It's through. Yeah. It's like 3 days later. 4 days later. Yeah. Naturally.
So then they're like, something, something, blah, blah, blah. You can call this number. So I fucking call the number. and I'm talking
I'm
to
sure
this
somebody
lady.
answered right away, right?
No, I was on hold for 15 minutes, which is an irritation because, again, whatever. So then I'm talking to this lady and I tell her the situation. Now, this is where I may have stretched the truth a little,
Okay.
where I was like, we drove all the way out there. My daughter got sick. She has the flu. She threw up in my car. I couldn't exactly, cancel my tickets on the spot
Yeah.
because I have, whatever. But I was like, I tried to refund them in the parking lot, but I submitted a support ticket, which you can clearly see by the time of day that it was submitted that it was before the show time. Well, we can't do that.
Okay, why not? You know?
That's just our policy.
No. The policy's stupid. Like, what's your...
I said, I'm not asking you for money. I'm not. I was like, I understand you can't put money back on the gift card. I'm just asking for comped tickets to go see it. I was like, you can book it for me. I was like, I will go this Sunday at the same fucking theater
Yeah.
and go see it. I was like, that's all I'm asking. I'm not, well, blah, blah, blah. We can't do anything. I was like, that's horseshit. I was like, and you fucking know it is. And I was like, I know it's not your fault, but I was like, I'm getting penalized. I'm essentially giving you free money because my child got sick. I was like, how is that even remotely fair?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not asking you to give me money. Just two tickets to a fucking movie that
Yeah.
you can afford, by the way. And if you can't, I don't really give a shit. Give me my money.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, give me my money, whatever. So she's like, well, I understand kids get sick. This happens all the time, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, right. Thanks. So give me my money.
It happens all the time, and you do this all the time. Sounds to me like it's a fucking scam. Like, it's
Right.
like,
So
yeah.
she's like, well, we can escalate it. And I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah, get
And
your boss in
then-
here. Bring your boss
So
in.
she did. She get her supervisor in there, and I tell her the situation. I am fucking annoyed, but I'm trying to have a bit of like respect, like a modicum of respect. Understand that like it's not necessarily their fault as much as it's like it's the stupid ass policy.
Yeah.
But again, I've had to jump through all these fucking hoops because the whole thing is designed for you to give up.
Yeah. You sat on hold for 15 minutes, and they're like, fuck, he's not hanging
And
up.
like,
Like, what do we do?
and
Yeah.
it's not even that. It's like you can't just like simply exchange it. There has to be a fucking rigmarole process. You have to submit a support ticket. Then you wait 72 hours, and then like they deny it. Then you have to call, and then you're on hold. Like it's just like a fucking 12-step process that, by the way, none of these goddamn politicians or anybody else ever has to fucking deal with.
Yeah. They
They
would have
don't.
just like bought the theater or something like
They
that.
just
yeah.
fucking go to the front of the line.
Yeah.
Or they just like don't have to pay for anything to begin with. Anyways, so I'm talking to the supervisor and I tell the situation. I was like, I do not believe that what I'm asking is unreasonable. And she's like, I understand, kids do get sick, but she's like, we simply can't do it because we've already paid the theater. And I said, then pay me.
Yeah. It's just, I don't understand. Like,
Or she said the theater has already paid them because it was Fandango and not Regal. The theater has already paid them, and I said, well, then pay me. That's my money that I
Yeah.
paid for with a gift card
that you can
that you're
clearly
stealing
see
that
the
you're
ticket's not
stealing
been
from me.
redeemed. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like,
I was like, you can clearly check with the data on the fucking QR code that goes with the tickets that I did not step foot in the theater, and I did follow your fucking process, and I submitted the support ticket before the fucking movie started. So I was like, this is horseshit, and you know it is. She's like, I'm sorry, like blah blah. And I was like, escalate it. I was like, keep going. I was like, I got all day, like keep going. She's like, well, we have to send it to our claims department, blah blah blah. I was like, okay, so like, I would like to book these tickets, this Sunday to go to the theater. I don't want to book these tickets and pay for it out of pocket if there's a chance that I'm going to get free tickets. And she's like, well, you should hear something by then. Within 8 hours, I got a response and said that like their ticket is closed. They're not going to fulfill the thing.
yeah,
And it's
pieces
just like,
of shit.
you're a
Dude.
fucking piece of shit. Like you're an absolute fucking shitty piece of shit human being, and your stupid ass. Like all of that over $12 fucking.
Yeah.
$12 fucking. So like I will never use Fandango again.
I don't think
Like,
anybody
won't.
should, honestly. Like, I've heard.
And like,
They're not great.
and like, what am I
Fuck
gonna
'em.
do? Is like nothing, Like
Yeah.
I'll just have to book it directly, and it's just like, well, you could have, if you would have had time, you could have went to the theater and exchanged it. I was like, what don't you understand about my fucking daughter had the flu and threw up in my car?
Yeah, it just like,
Clearly, that's not the truth.
No,
but
no,
the-
no,
but
they don't know
still,
that. They are.
but it
under
doesn't
the
matter.
assumption. Yeah.
But also, like at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter if I didn't go to the goddamn movie with it. And again, I understand your policy with if 48 hours have passed and you've not done anything, you're shit out of luck. I literally did everything I was fucking supposed to do by the letter of the law, by the fucking rule book, and you still fucking denied me. And that's that whole thing where I'm just like, fucking
It's
fuck the
almost
establishment, dude. Like, I hate all that shit. Oh,
it's
burn it
almost
all down
like
here.
you're never meant to like use the system, right? Like insurance.
Yeah.
Insurance, for example, right?
Yeah.
Like recently I had to have like that's the okay, man. That was the one thing. We just we had a crack at our windshield. It got like down to sub-zero temperatures. We were literally sitting in line at school to drop off our son, and it cracked all the way across the front of the hood, the front of the car.
Which happens.
Which happens, right? So I was like, oh shit, okay, let's check car insurance, see if they covering it, right? They have. There she was like, yeah, it's a $500 deductible though. I was like, okay, cool. Well, let me check and see how much it's gonna be to get a new windshield. Go from there.
Less than
right?
$500.
It was literally like $440 or something like that, right? I'm thinking like, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, so the deductible, the way it works, right, is you pay the money.
An additional amount of money on top of what you already paid.
But it goes into a bucket, right? So it's like
Supposedly.
$500 bucket, right?
Sorry, theoretically.
Theoretically goes into a $500 bucket, right? But this lady, she was like, well, it's under the $500 limit, so I'm not even going to file a claim, right? Because it's like there's no reason to, because it wouldn't cover it. But I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, well, then like what happens if something else happens later on in the year, and now like I didn't pay any of that money into that $500 bucket, so I'm still out $500, and it's like. And she was even like, oh, it doesn't go on against your record to like file a claim like this, because it's like, seeing it's like, ancillary or whatever. It's like, then why not just file the fucking claim?
Why not
Right?
just fucking pay for it? Like, I've paid enough in insurance over the last fucking 5 years.
I don't want to think about how much money. Yeah.
But here, you want to know the fucked up part to all of that? Like, outside of the fact that you already pay money
Yeah.
for a service that you then don't get to get any benefits from, which again, we've always talked about. Like,
Yeah.
insurance is the fucking biggest scam ever created by human beings outside of religion.
And a
But I
scam
won't
that
get into that.
you're legally bound to do.
That's the thing, because you can literally go to jail for not having insurance on your car.
So, but then it's like, give me somebody who's used insurance, right? Like,
I have.
I mean,
When I had a car wreck, when I was in high school, weirdly enough, I had 2 car wrecks, and neither one of them. Well,
I guarantee you that they were probably fucking trying any way they could to make sure that you were at fault. And like
the first one, I hydroplaned, so it was my fault. No one got hurt. I didn't hit anybody. And I had a high premium or whatever because I was a fucking teenage driver. And then less than a year later, someone hit me. I was dead. I was stopped on the main road. I was stopped to turn left, and I had to wait for a car to come by. Someone hit me going an estimated 55 miles per hour.
Damn.
I was at a dead stop. Fucking dude broke her face to bits, bro. Dude. Oh my god, I wish you could see what happened, because like I got hit and I fucking had my backpack, because I was senior in high school, and I had my backpack in my car, and I just fucking flung it, and my books just went everywhere. I was fucking furious. And she's sitting there, she gets out, her face is all like broken and bloody and shit.
What the fuck are you doing? Like, it's so, I can imagine it's.
She fucking went to school like 3 weeks later with a fucking headpiece.
Yeah.
And tried to blame that shit on me. Bitch, you hit me. I was at a dead stop with my turn signal on.
Yeah, I was
You
turning.
hit me.
I was turning. You
fucking
the
cunt.
weren't paying attention here. Yeah, it's just like, goddamn, dude.
Because like I had just hydroplaned like 6 months prior, so it was in the same school year.
There's like I don't like I have an old friend or whatever, and I remember this time me and my brother and 2 old friends were like hanging out playing D&D, and he had just been in like a car accident, right? Somebody had like literally totaled his truck, right? He wasn't injured, he was fine, but he apparently had a dash cam and had the video of it, and it's like, now that we know he's okay, right? It's okay to laugh, right? So he was like showing us the video, and like the guy, the kid, it was like some stupid kid going like 60, 70 miles an hour, fucking didn't even stop, never hit the brakes, fucking crashed, smashed into the back of him. And like, I think he got really bad hurt, but it's whatever. He's dipshit. Sorry, sorry, not sorry kind of thing. I think he's okay now. But he had the audio turned all the way down. We're like, bro, like, let's turn it up. Like, I want to hear, like, what did it sound like on the inside of the car? And it's like, the funniest shit, because it's like it's the ultimate jump scare, because he's literally just sitting there and gets smashed, and you just hear him screaming. He's like, ah, the whole time. He's fine. So it's like he's just fucking screaming. People getting scared always makes me laugh, man. I don't know what it is.
I know.
I
Like,
don't know what it is, dude. There's something about it.
so I hear through the grapevine there's some ne'er-do-wells in your neighborhood causing a ruckus.
You know, it's one of those things, man. I have anxiety, as you know.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't know if you know this about me.
This is news to me.
I have
Okay.
anxiety, right? So any kind of situations that would further my anxiety, I get mad at, right?
So literally people existing.
People existing, just being ne'er-do-wells, right? It makes me anxious. I don't like it. All right. So
Okay. Is it
uh,
because you harken back to your youth of being that?
no, that's the thing, man. It's like I understand. Kids are fucking stupid, right? They're dumbass kids. These kids
Not
in particular,
limited to kids, Jacob.
they live down my street and they're fucking teenagers, right? They're gonna be doing stupid ass teenager shit, right? And it's like, hey, 4th of July, I get it. You're gonna run up and down the streets, firing off fireworks until 12 o'clock at night. I get you, fucking
Shooting
kids.
Roman candles at
Shooting
everybody.
Roman candles, putting them in your asshole, firing them at your friends. I get it, dude. Fucking kids will be kids. You're kind of rambunctious. You're yelling at like 10 o'clock at night, you know, making hooping and hollering and whatnot. Don't give a shit, dude. Fucking hoop and holler away. As long as it's not waking me and my family up, I don't give a shit. But don't like actively catcall my 8-year-old son as he's just riding his bike up and down the street with my wife in tow behind him, right?
Are you sure they weren't catcalling your wife?
No, they were absolutely catcalling my 8-year-old son, telling him to come over here, talk to us. You know, you don't have to tell your parents or whatever. And then also making sexual noises as he passes by. Like, that pisses me off a little bit, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
No.
So these pieces of shit, they're just being like, and it's one of those things where like,
Is it on your street or somewhere else?
it's literally on our street. Like, yeah, literally like 2-3 houses down, right? So it's one of those things, man, where it's just like
you can dox them. No, don't.
No, don't, because then I'd be doxing myself. I don't want to do that.
Is this the people that left their fucking dog out for days?
No, that's right next to us, and like that, they haven't done it since. So, and I felt kind of bad about that too, because it's like I'm literally not trying to cause any kind of scene between us. All right, this isn't about the fact that I personally, to me, Shelby was more like concerned with the dog. I get it. Like
My wife was furious, dude.
I
She
get
was
it.
about to go.
That is
We were at your house and she was fixing to go over there.
that is important. You know, the dog being out of the 90-degree heat is very important. I get that or whatever. Personally, I don't give a shit about that. Like, you can be pieces of shit and leave your dog out. I just don't want to be woken up at fucking 3 a.m. because your dog's barking his goddamn head off.
The dog didn't have any water, right?
It's something like that. I don't know, dude. But that's the whole thing is like, you do you and be a piece of shit if you want to.
No.
Until it affects me. And then I get upset. Because now I can't sleep. My wife's upset. She's yelling. She's mad. We're, going to start bickering back and forth because you can't take your dog and put him in the fucking house and go away for 5 days. Whatever. It's like, guys, come on. Can we be civil? Anyways.
I have very strong opinions about that, but I'll leave it.
I understand, right? I want to stress the fact that, like, yes, it is bad. Don't do that to your dog.
If you have a dog and you are going away and you can't afford to house your dog, you don't need a dog.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's fair. Yeah, that is a fair assumption.
If you do not have somebody that's going to come let your dog out,
that is
this basic necessities.
Yeah. If you don't have,
need a dog.
if you are not able to come up with a contingency plan, be it like the cheapest route or the free route or whatever, having like, even your grandmother come over and let him out or whatever.
Nothing irritates me more when I drive. Like, dogs can be outside. Christina doesn't think that whatever, but like, dogs can be outside. I have no issues with that. I have a very big issue when dogs are chained up outside.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's like, why do you have a dog? Like, why if you had it chained up outside 24/7? Like, yeah, why do you have a fucking dog? Like, it's for protection. What is it gonna do? Fucking being chained up? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like it is a loud nuisance as well as inhumane.
Dude, that's inhumane. Like, when I run for office, it's the first thing that's gonna happen is I'm gonna pass a fucking bill that if you have a dog outside, it can't be chained up. It has to be within the fence.
It has to be in a fence, yeah. And it has to have leash laws. We gotta have leash laws. We gotta keep the society together.
Do we?
Maybe. But anyways, so that there's like a small beef form, and it's not really much. It's one of those situations in which, like, if it happens again, because I told Shelby, I was like, I'll wait until their parents get home, because they're like 17 years old, right?
They know better.
There's nothing legally I can do in this situation, right? Because if I go down there and beat the shit out of a 17,
legality, dude, that's a moral thing. Don't fucking talk to my 8-year-old.
Yeah, but if I go down there and beat the shit out of a 17-year-old, regardless of the situation, I'm going to jail.
I'll come help you beat the shit out of a 17-year-old. It's a fucking 17-year-old.
I don't. Okay. I don't want to go to jail.
You're in the best shape of your life right now, bro.
I am. I still don't want to go to jail.
How many?
At least 2. So,
No, like here's the thing.
It's
Like
this
I
big
will
old.
go to
I'm gonna be mean. It's this big old fucking fat kid who thinks he's the fucking most hilarious piece of shit on the planet, and then this little scrawny little piece of shit,
so
17-year
like you
old.
see yourself in there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's like, I understand that they're being kids.
That's why
I get it. Like, I get that they're being kids. He's obviously being funny for attention because he gets no other attention elsewhere besides the fact that like he's fucking funny as shit and he's like fat and whatnot. And like his parents probably don't love him. Same
speaking
thing
from experience.
yeah, same thing with the scrawny piece of shit. Like I can only imagine that like he's not getting any love from his parents, and then the only reason he can do anything about it is like by acting out and trying to act like this Chad or whatever by making sexual innuendos or sexual noises towards an 8-year-old child.
I've just never
It's just
subscribed to the bullied behavior. Like I don't like it.
causes me
maybe
so
it's
much
because
anxiety, dude.
maybe it's because I was bullied, but like I don't know. I don't know. Like it just.
But
Yeah, but like the thing is like when you're dealing with your children, and you're doing things that would be considered very uncouth, and like things this especially now, like those things you just like you're not supposed to do that, even if you think it's funny. Like you should know better. I should say that you should know better. Because like when you're telling me this story, like all I hear is like somebody doing that to Zoe, and like that's 0 to 100 to me, really fucking.
I mean,
quick.
this is
Like,
it's
don't
like
you do not, because like there are so many fucking disgusting predators out there and
Yeah.
fucking scum that like I can't take those risks. And
Especially
but
with
then
a
I
daughter,
understand where you're
too,
coming
yeah.
from. I understand where you're coming from because it's like then you make a scene and then like, now you have to live every day in this like anxiety like fueled like
yeah.
panic,
And it's
because
like
it's like
I'm not
but
trying
but
to make a
but
scene, and I understand that. And it's like
but you're not. They fucking started it.
yes, but it doesn't. The way that I like to handle it is that like we can be
By
comical.
not handling it.
No, we can be comical right now, and it doesn't have to escalate as long as they don't allow it to, right? So it's like, hey, you did it once, funny, haha, don't do it again. I explained to my son, I was like, hey, buddy, listen, if anybody starts yelling at you, you ignore them, you come get mom and dad, okay? And he was like, what do they try and yell at me or start trying to chase me or whatever? It's like, you come to me, and I'll beat the fucking shit out of him. I literally said it verbatim, I'll beat the fucking shit out of him. He's like, okay. Because I wanted him to understand that like
The gravity of the situation.
the gravity of the situation. Like if he is ever in danger, if he feels like anybody tries to talk to him, he's not comfortable, come and get me. I'll handle the situation, buddy. I'll go fucking John Wick on their ass. I don't give a shit. Okay, 17-year-olds or not, I'll fucking do it. Okay, but in this situation, it's very much so like, hey, they're being dipshit kids. At the moment, they're not
Is your
coming
kid
in.
out by himself, or does
No.
someone always out with him?
No, like we always have somebody out there with him. Like, because it's
Same.
like, and it's not like, oh, we don't trust him, whatever. It's like the times that we live in, I want my kid to be safe. So
Now,
we don't actively like helicopter him, like walking down the street. Like Shelby was like halfway up the street when he was getting like yelled at or whatever. So
you're
it's-
in the vicinity.
Yes, I'm.
We have like layers of that, but like we live in a little bit more of a enclosed neighborhood than you do. Like there's no out on ours. Like you have multiple streets in and out of yours. We have a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
So like she has a watch. So like there'll be days where she wants to go down to the neighborhood to see if her friend's there, but like she has to call us when she's there.
Yeah.
And like it's one of those things where I understand if you're looking at it from like the prism of like our parents or even us, where it's like, well, what was key latch kid, right? That's what they called me. Like somebody who I had the ability to fucking, 7, 8 years old. I was getting off the bus and unlocking the door and doing all that shit. So like, obviously, yes, times are different. And I get irritated when people make those comments because it's like, you don't have kids of our age in 2025. Like you don't know what it's like, and that's another thing, another feather in the cap to
Yeah.
our parents and the people that run this country. It's like you don't fucking know what it's like out here. Like
Nah,
you don't.
You fucking if
And,
they're
like-
in they don't spend time with their kids, if anything, if they're like a politician or whatever. So
Right, and if you're a politician, you lived in in an enclosed neighborhood, and they go to a private school. Like these, are
I
things
mean, hell, I think Tim Burchett said it best whenever it was like, my kids don't go to that school. Like he's
my
not
kids
worried
my
about
kids
it.
don't go to public school, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
he's a fucking scumbag
He's a
piece,
piece
of shit.
of fucking shit, dude. That
But
guy
anyways,
fucking
that's not the point of the
sucks.
story. It's like, we are literally dealing with things. And like I'm sure that our parents did too, right? Right? Like our parents
Oh, yeah.
dealt with things that
Absolutely.
their parents didn't have to deal with. But like the thing is, like, we deal with things actively on a daily basis that our parents don't have. They're not privy to because they don't. And it's ignorance, right? It's ignorance because, like, why would they? Why would they know what it's like to have a 7-year-old? Like,
Yeah.
why would that sort of shit. And the climate of stuff has changed, and like, we have the ability, like, everyone is like more susceptible to like being tracked, all these things, right? So like,
Yeah.
there's just a whole lot more that we have to deal with that is normal for us, but it's not. If you look at it under, like, outside looking in, you like, oh, okay, yeah, that is weird,
Yeah.
like. So I luckily, like, I don't know what I would do in that situation because I've not been presented to that situation, but we try to balance that sort of like what you were talking about. We try to balance the non-helicopterness and like giving that sense of freedom, but like also teach her the responsibility that, like, if you want to do things and you want to build trust, like, you have to call us when you get down there because, like, there's people in my neighborhood that I don't trust. There's
Yeah.
people in my neighborhood I don't like, and
I
then
don't think
like,
anybody. That's the thing, man. It's like, especially, I
yeah,
understand. I understand that, like, as a society, we kind of have to have like some modicum, to use the word you were using earlier, of trust, right? But I think that there's also like nobody should trust anybody, and that's like
I I
I
don't.
trust the guy in the room I'm in the room with right now, and
Yourself?
my wife, and your wife, and like, as far as like, I mean, there's obviously varying degrees of trust, but like that's probably those four people, myself is what included. It's like probably the only people I don't even trust myself that much, but like
It's
it's hard.
it is, like, I've been fortunate enough, and maybe it's just, I'm a product of my fucking environment. I don't know. Like, I just never have, because, like, I always pushed back on that idea, like, you gotta respect your elders. And it's like,
Fuck the
fucking
elders,
why?
dude. Fuck
Like,
old,
fucking
fuck
why?
old people, dude.
Like you're saying because you're old that you get default respect, and it's just like, no, that's not how I operate,
Yeah.
and I've never operated that way. Now, like, I'm not going to be disrespectful, like, on the meeting, but like, we're sitting like at a right here, and like the line between respect and disrespect is right here, and it's
You're
like
on it.
it takes
Yeah. Yeah.
5 minutes of a conversation for you to adjust the levels, and I've always
Yeah,
operated that way.
because it's like ever since I was growing up, it's always like you got to earn respect, right? You got to earn it, and
I,
then,
I
but the
do think
moment
that's
you get
right.
old, like I have to immediately give it to you. Fuck
Well,
off.
I've been here. I've been around.
Yeah.
Okay, you've been around a couple times, and you're still an idiot. So,
Yeah,
like,
that tells
what do
me
you want
you
me to,
fucking
like?
took you a
You
long
still
time to
suck.
learn
Like,
nothing.
you know what I mean? Like, and I very much. It's funny that you mentioned that because, like, I have very much my entire life that has been the predicate for, like, all of my relationships.
Yeah,
Like, I treat people with the basic, hey, how are you doing? Like, whatever,
yeah.
I'll be nice to you. But like, the moment I feel any sort of fucking disrespect coming from you, like, I'm giving it back twofold, and I will not hesitate because I don't give a shit about making friends or hurting your feelings. Like, I don't fucking care.
That's the kind
Because
of energy we need in 2025, dude.
I just don't, dude. And it's not worth it, man. And like, I'm desperately trying to get my daughter to be that way. It's hard. It's
Dude,
hard,
that
dude.
man, that's the thing though, is I think that it's one of those subconscious level things where, yes, currently I don't think she understands or like respects the ideas that you're trying to put in her head, but then it's not until she hits like 16, 17 years old and she's
It
like,
may be even later.
maybe, but it's like
Because
she's
especially
like,
when she gets into high school, dude, peer pressure is going to be a motherfucker.
and on a subconscious level, eventually it's gonna hit her and she's like, man, fuck these people, I'm gonna do my own
Dude.
thing, you know?
We grew up in a right time because, like, I was, for the longest time, I did not have a Facebook when everyone had a Facebook. Now, maybe it's my natural contrarianism or whatever, like going against the grain, going to the beat my own drum, whatever it was. But, like,
Yeah.
I never saw the point in it. So I was like, dude, I had others like forms of social media. Like, I was on Twitter for like way, way, way back, like
Yeah.
early Twitter. Because like when Facebook was a thing, it was like Twitter or Facebook. Like, you didn't have both, And so, yeah, you picked one. But then, like, I don't know. I just never succumbed to that theory of any of that shit. I lost my point, but the whole
That's
point.
all good, dude. But it's, yeah, man. So I'll keep you updated on the neighborhood beef, but it's just like, it's just the idea of like having to deal with it. And it's like, if it happens again, I'm gonna go talk to the parents. I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna pull the dad card. I'm gonna go have a nice conversation. with their
Yeah.
parents. Then, granted,
Do you know these people though? Like,
no,
have you ever
I've never once talked to them or
you've
whatever.
never had an
Never had a conversation with them, but it's like, hey guys, I'll pull it, man. I'll be like, hey, I don't
I have
care.
a story for you off mic.
Got you.
About somebody we know.
I should be like,
Um,
whatever, dude. You know,
how do you feel about superstitions?
man, that is a good question. I know that like there are some things where like, I'm just too like forgetful to be superstitious. You know what I mean? Like it's like I would probably be superstitious, like turn the lights off 3 times. I guess that's OCD or whatever. But it's like,
Like Charlie,
like
turn
I'll
off.
find myself running and be like, oh, better not step on any cracks for like 10 minutes, right? And trying to avoid all the cracks and shit like that because I don't want to break
That's
my
just
mom's
a game
back.
to pass time though.
That's a superstition, man. Don't step on a crack. You break your mom's
Break
back.
your mama's back. Right.
So
I bring it up because
yeah,
I don't inherently believe in superstitions. Like there's the running joke, right? With if I attend a Jaguars game in person, they're going to lose. It's not so much as a superstition as it is a full blown proven fact, because like it just doesn't
man.
happen, right? But like I don't have anything to do with the outcome of a game.
yeah.
Like I
I
don't.
guess it is kind of narcissistic to think that like, oh, this is if you do this thing,
And
then
it's
the
a
whole
fun
game
thing,
is affected.
but so, but like superstition is a lot like luck. I think luck is a very real thing that can't be that is like you can't put an assignment on it, but it is something that can be calculated and traced back.
Yeah.
But like you can't put it in a formula. Like the formula of like we've talked about it, several times about like, right place, right time is a form of luck, right? But like
Yes.
you can't foresee that because good luck and there's bad luck. You can't foresee I need to be here on this moment because you can't see the future sort
Yeah.
of deal. So like I think luck is a real thing that like is in a way not a tangible proven theory, but you can't disprove it either. But a little more to the fact of the superstition is something that you can't prove that it doesn't work on the same token that you can't prove that it does work. I have started a superstition with hockey this year that I've never done before.
Okay.
And is it working? I don't know. The
Better
Caps
knock
are the
on
best
wood,
team.
dude. Speaking of
Caps-
superstitions, that's so funny though.
Yeah, right. Like Caps are still the best team in the league. OV 17 away is his recording of breaking the record, yada yada, etc. Like they're very good.
Gotta knock on
They
wood.
they
dude.
just
Tell 'em.
come at you from all angles. Like they're not just like
They're just playing
they're,
really good hockey.
they're a
right
very
now.
dynamic team. Like they played Florida the other night and they had 6 different goal scorers. Like that's like that sort of thing. Anywho, I used to drink coffee out of I have a Caps mug, I have a Jags mug, I have a Kentucky mug. They're the same brand, same thing. It's literally just like a red cup that says Capitals. It's raised. I have a blue one that says Kentucky. I have a Jag. It's like they're
Gotcha.
very
Yeah.
not generic. They're just like they're just there. I used to drink coffee if it was game day that morning. I would drink out of the Caps cup or the Jags cup or whatever. Since hockey season started, I don't know how it. I guess maybe it was like my cup was dirty one day,
Yeah.
and like I just chose a different one. But I've been doing it the day after. Like I'm not drinking out of the team that plays on. Like if the team plays on that day, I don't drink out of that coffee mug.
Okay.
And it's not 100%, right? It's not
Yeah.
100%, like because nothing is 100%. But it seems to be working.
The win
so
rate
much
is way high.
Right. So much so now that it's now in my head. So now I'm very much aware of what I've done and
Yeah.
what's going on. So now I can't change it. Because like there's that whole idea. It's like, well, I only wear this pair of
Yeah.
underwear. And it's like,
Because like even if you did the ritual right and they still lost, it's still that idea of like, but maybe it works next time, and I still shouldn't do it. I think I still got to stick to my ritual.
if you wanted to get real like down in the weeds with it, if it is more successful than it is less successful, then it works.
Yeah.
If it, you know what I mean? Like if
And
I'm
the way I
not,
see it's literally like just you're not drinking out of a coffee mug. It's not like anybody's getting hurt from it. So it's to me it's just like the ultimate fuck it.
it's really hard when like 2 of them play on the same day, and it's
Damn.
just like,
You're gonna get to a point where you can't drink out of any of them. Then what do you do? You know, it's game day. You can't have
But
coffee.
it's only working with one team right now. So
Well, I'd say that's a win. That's a win, buddy. That ritual's working right there.
right, and it's just like it's a whole Charlie thing. My mom turns it off. You know, his mom turns it off. And it's just like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and it's just like, am I dead? It's like, well, no, you're not dead, but like there's no bearing.
It didn't
on
happen
your
this time, but you never know. Like maybe next time, maybe it's like maybe it's again, it's like the conception theory, right? Where it's like maybe it didn't happen this time, but what happens the next time I don't do it?
And I
you
guess
fucking
like
die.
the moral of the story is like that's how people believe in religion.
You nailed it. You know,
Guess.
I mean, because you think about olden times, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking before the Bible was big, you know, before it became the new hip thing to do. I'm talking like Greek gods and goddesses, right? It was literally like, if something bad happens, well, we obviously fucked up somehow. Sorry about that, buddy. But if something good happens, they're like, they like this. So it's like, if you're jerking off, right? You're jerking off onto your corn, right? And then it grows.
Why the corn? Why not a rock?
I mean, you're jerking off onto the corn, dude. And it grows. And it's like, hell yeah, dude. God likes this. And so now you have to jerk off on the corn every single year. That feels, but if he does it and it dies, you're like, I fucked up, buddy. That's on me. I don't know if that was like a good analogy, but I'm keeping it in. I think it works.
I like it. It works for me. So tell me about this guy that brings a monkey through a drive-through.
Oh my God, dude. As somebody who's worked fast food, this is the ultimate fucking nightmare, right?
Okay.
Because like I mean, I worked fast food for like 3-4 years, I think, if I'm remembering correctly or whatever. Like I've seen
10.
all sorts of things.
You just like lost time.
It might have been the dude. I don't. It was a while, and I saw all sorts
Real
of
quick,
things.
what was
right?
your first big boy job not in fast food?
Working in a grocery
Call
store.
center.
Working in a grocery store. I was in produce.
What was your first big boy job that was not retail?
That's where we met. Yeah.
At Jacob's?
Yeah, it is my first big boy job.
Oh wow!
And I didn't even get hired, dude. I was fucking
Wow.
temp for a whole goddamn year, dude. Talking about a fucking scam. Anyways, like I've seen a bunch of things, right? Had a dude threaten one of our drive-thru workers. I had to fucking yell at him, and then he came back to the store. Talk about shit and bricks, dude. I was fucking nervous as fuck. But I didn't back down. I was just like, hey, buddy, I just didn't like the way he was talking to my coworker here. I was like, I'm sorry. And he left. And I was like, thank God, because I was very scared. I was about to die. Because this guy was a massive individual, right?
Yeah.
He was a
Fucking
massive
swole.
individual.
Especially where you were when you worked. Was this in Murfreesboro?
Yes, it was. And it's like,
There's a reputation there.
buddy, the Burger King that I worked at, there was definitely a reputation. The Walgreens up the street was actively robbed. Like while we were all working at Burger King, had a couple of vagrants come.
I was held at
through.
gunpoint at CVS
It's a lot. That's the thing, man.
in the pharmacy.
Again, I think we've said it on the episode before, but if you need a refresher, if anybody holds you at gunpoint, just fucking give them the money.
I did.
That corporation is not worth you being like, no, I'm not giving it to you. Fuck it. No, I'd
No,
say
absolutely not.
crack the safe. Tell them, hey, give me 30 minutes.
Ones,
It's gonna
fives,
take a
tens, and
minute.
20s went into the drawer. 50s and 100s went in the safe underneath.
I'm just saying, if you're out there, you're being held at gunpoint right now, listen to
I
this
don't know if I
podcast.
should say that.
Hey, I mean, that's the thing, man. It's like I'd say be as nice as you can to them. There's no reason. There is
didn't give a
absolutely
shit.
treat it like, hey, fucking you. I don't have any personal items on me, but I got. You can fucking take a whole box of Whoppers in the back, dude.
$9.18 an hour. I didn't care.
Yeah, dude. No, there's no reason you lose your life. Don't ever. Because there was a sad story here in our town. Like one of the guys working at Rural King, right? Rural King.
Oh yeah. I
Tried
do
to
remember
stop
that.
somebody who was shoplifting. It got fucking blasted in the face, and I'm just like, dude, fuck it. Let them. They could walk out with a literal cow, and I'd be like, buddy, it's just another Tuesday. You have a good day, sir. Don't ever chase somebody. They got this
Don't be a
shit.
hero, dude.
And
It
then you
ain't
see all
worth
those videos on TikTok and on Instagram and on YouTube where it's like people trying to like run out and stop the car. It's like, dude,
There are
$50 worth of
situations
shit
where-
that they're stealing, or the $500 monitor, even if it's like a $500 monitor, fucking, it does not matter.
If they're actively trying to harm a child or something.
Oh,
then
yeah,
that's
absolutely step in.
That's when you step in. Yeah.
absolutely. But if they're trying to run off with a flat screen TV,
Take it.
hey, Bogo, do you want this one too? You know, give him another one. I don't give a shit, dude.
Buddy,
But
hey, buddy, take two. Put one out back for me. I won't
dude,
tell.
dude, fucking. Hey, meet me on 17th Street if you could. Like, yeah.
I won't snitch.
Yeah, dude,
I won't
I'm not
snitch.
snitch. But it's just like, don't ever put
I ain't
your
never
life
seen you
on
in my
the line.
life.
Yeah, dude, I don't give a fuck, dude. Take this TV, buddy. I don't give a shit. Like,
Anyways,
but
this monkey.
this dude rolls up to the drive-thru, right? He's got a pet monkey. You know how they are, the fucking monkey. Well, I'm sure that there's probably like some part of the story. The part that I don't care about is like, even if there was two sides of the story, I don't give a fuck because the dude drove off. So it's like, fuck you. You forfeited your chance to defend yourself. This bitch could have fucking hurled the latte at the monkey and it got mad and jumped on her bitter. I don't give a shit now because she drove off. Here's your piece of shit. She's working. I think it's a girl. I don't know actually. The person is working the drive-thru. She's like, they're like, hey, here's your drink, whatever. Monkey crawls up on her arm, starts biting her face, right? And is only saved by a coworker who throws the monkey back outside, right? Monkey climbs back in the car. The guy drives off, right? I'm just thinking, dude, fuck this individual. It's like, because as a drive-thru worker, if I get attacked by a monkey, I'm going to be very upset, right? It's going to be a very bad day.
What's the strangest thing that you can recall ever seeing while on the job?
I didn't personally see it, but there was a hilarious kid we worked with. Shout out to Nick if he's listening. He knows exactly who I'm listening.
Not the Nick that we have on here.
Yeah, no, the Nick. Yeah, me and Nick. That's where we met. We met
Nick
at Burger
Poe.
King. Yeah, we
Right.
used to have
Oh,
ice
so
fights.
that
Nick Poe. Shouts out Nick Poe. You look great in that shirt. I'm gonna dox the dude because his last name is fucking awesome. It was Mason Funderburg. Mason Funderburg. He drove, I'm pretty sure, a Thunderbird. I'm not making this up. Guy,
You got to lean into it with a name like that.
he was like, he's
Mason Thunderbird and his Thunderbird.
I think he was like 17. His was his first job. He's like 6'2", 6'3", very lanky, had a little bit of a lisp, beautiful curly hair, just an adorable looking 6'1" giant, right? Adorable looking kid. He's whatever. He's very tall. Okay, I'm not very
already
tall, but he
changed
was
the
like
story.
a foot over my head. Okay, adorable kid, right?
You're not 5'2", Jacob.
I'm 5'11". Okay, he's like a foot.
He
taller
can't
than me.
be.
He was
So
he
he's
was like
6'11"?
7'10", dude. He was fucking a massive guy.
Okay.
He was like
He's Andre the Giant.
he comes on the headset and he's like,
Anybody want a peanut?
no, he had a very soft voice. He was great at the drive-thru. He was a very nervous kid though. But anywho, right? He comes on the headset and he's like, "Hey Jacob, I need to like ask you a question real quick." And I was like, "Okay." And he was like, "Should I take money if it like came out of somebody's mouth?" Right? And I was like, "Probably not. No, I wouldn't accept that." And he was like, "All right, well, I'm just going to put this money to the side," because he had already accepted it. He said that the dude drove up to the drive-thru. He was like, "Okay, it's going to be like," I think it was like, he bought like $1 cheeseburger. He was like, "It's going to be $1.10.
That was a bit for this person.
I guess. He was like $1.10. And the guy, open mouth, drops some money out of his hand, into his hand, and then hands it to Mason. Luckily, he always wore gloves or whatever.
Gloves.
He always wore gloves. So it's like he drops it in his hand. He was like, "Thanks." And just went about his day. We had that whole ice cream thing that came through. Like, the lady made herself a unicorn. Hilarious bit. So funny. There was one time, dude passed out. I was cleaning the store because, like, we had a big old cleaning party or whatever. It was like 3 a.m. Dude passed out in the drive-thru. Fucking was literally there, passed out for an hour. Eventually, the other lady that was working night shift or whatever, she called the cops. And the guy got upset at her for calling the cops after this dude was like, we thought he was dead. So, you see all kinds of things.
When I worked at CVS, I worked in the front, and I would occasionally help out in the pharmacy illegally. Probably I was not supposed to be back there, but like when they were short staffed.
Rules didn't apply. It's fine.
I mean, I didn't have a degree, and like I didn't need to be messing with medicine at 16 years old. But it was.
They don't know what they're doing anyway. So.
But anyways, so I've held at gunpoint there, held at gunpoint in the front. But the whole point is, when I worked at the front, we used to develop the photo center.
Buddy, I can't imagine. Please do tell.
We people would bring in like rolls of film, and like we're supposed to discard anything that was
Sexually explicit.
Yeah. There was some stuff that was pretty provocative, but I never saw any like full on like like penetration or anything like that.
Yeah.
I saw. I mean, I saw like at the time she was probably like in her late 50s, early 60s, and like she had taken a bunch of pictures, obviously of herself or somebody had taken pictures of her,
Good
and
for
like in
her.
these really skimpy outfits, and like you could like see through lingerie. So like, I was like, whatever. Like I whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Good for her. You know.
I
Just
didn't throw
like
it away. I didn't say anything else because I didn't give a shit. Like,
yeah, you just give her
you
her
know,
picture. I mean, I thought the thing is
there's
like yeah, just give it to her. Like it's her
there was,
pictures.
like girls because it was close to like ETSU, so like, parties and stuff and out on the boat on the lake,
Dude, you
you'd see stuff
remember
like that.
fucking what was that one thing that would always come on late at night? It was the ad and like
Girls Gone Wild.
Girls Gone Wild, dude. You talk about I'm sure they had horror stories about like how shitty
Oh,
those people were. God
yeah, it
damn,
was
dude.
exploitation and trying to think if there's anything else. When I worked at Petco, people would bring in snakes and spiders
You
and
worked at
scorpions
Eckerd's,
and
right?
I don't even know
Eckerd's?
what
My dad worked at Eckerd's
I
when he
worked
was
at CVS.
okay, CVS. My dad worked at
And I was getting
Eckerd's.
paid 9.18 an hour.
You were
Like,
not
what an
getting paid enough to be messing with medication.
I was
That's
getting
for sure.
paid $3 more than everyone else I knew because minimum wage was like less than $7. It was 6.75 or whatever the fuck, and I was making $3 more,
Hey,
essentially. When I was at Petco, like I saw all sorts of like weird animals and shit, and it's just like somebody brought a monkey in there one time, and I'm like, bro, you can't bring that in here. Like we got fucking dogs. Like
yeah, they won't eat this thing.
that fucking dog will like, and like, what if your fucking rabies laden like monkey like bites somebody else's dog, and then we have a lawsuit, and then it's just like it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.